All right, guys, we don't usually do request videos, but Michael Woods was having some trouble with his gforce blade. New to guns, maybe, new to this gun. Just wanted a video on how to break it down and clean it. I thought there was already some stuff out there, but we'll run over it real quick. We had one on the shelf and it's easy. So this one goes out to you, Mike. You're just gonna need a bore brush of some sort, right? Whether it's a bore snake, whatever you use. I've got tons of shit here at the gun store in pieces. Some sort of flathead screwdriver. This one might be too big to fit in there, so I got my kit over there. But yeah, fairly self-explanatory, but I can also sympathize because the first time I tried to take one of these apart, I exploded my thumb. Do not put your thumb in places it does not belong. But yeah, so there's a detent pin in the back here. If you depress that detent pin in and slide up on this block is just going to come off the back of the gun. So that's where we're going to start. Just like that. Okay, so now looking here, this is going to be the plunger that holds that in place, interfaces with that slot in the back. That there is going to be your recoil spring and rod. You're going to index the screwdriver into the back of it, push forward, rotate it the slotted flat direction, and then it will come out. Just kind of keep some pressure on it because it's under spring pressure. And just like that, there's your recoil rod and spring. Now the rest of this, fairly similar to an AR-15, which makes a lot of the videos of people having trouble with these all the more frustrating because it's like, come on, everybody has an AR-15. You should know how to do this by now. Push out your pins. And just lift and separate your upper and lower receiver. So as far as cleaning your lower goes, typical fare, spray it out, maybe take a toothbrush in there, get any debris. If you got something stuck down there that's locking something up, obviously you might have to push out these pins like an AR-15 and put it all back together. But generally this shouldn't require that kind of maintenance. You can blow it out with compressed air if you'd like, you know, bing, bada, boom. This guy here, this is your ejector. Make sure that's all intact, looking sharp like it should, all that sort of thing. Magazine stop, release. Just make sure there's no debris in there. Everything's cleaned out. Put a little oil on everything. Boom, lower's done. Now for the upper receiver. I've seen some people talking, you know, apparently these guns are getting kind of a mixed reputation now, right? The sample size we had that we did the video on was 1, so we didn't have any troubles. It's a fairly simple mechanism. Looking at them, it's kind of, there's a few things I can see that would maybe go wrong. So there's a rubber buffer stop in here, and it sort of prevents the over travel, right? And, you know, I guess de-slotting of your bolt carrier. Some people were saying my bolt carrier came back to like a particular position and got stuck. So if this isn't in your gun and then your gun came back to this position where you can lift out the bolt, yeah, I can see where it got stuck, wedged in there, jammed, like that sort of thing. Beyond that, you know, these parts are essential. Leave them in the gun, right? You need that there. That's going to keep it from doing that sort of thing. But yeah, at this point, right, we're just going to slide this back to where we see all these grooves that index and match with the bolt carrier. And then that bolt carrier will sort of lift and fall right out, right? So there's your bolt carrier. Extremely simple. Really almost nothing to it. Just a big machined block. An extractor on it. And firing pin hole. The firing pin is captured inside. You'd have to punch all those pins out and stuff if you want. That is not necessary. Just clean it up, oil it up, make sure it's free of debris, you know, etc. Right? And then the channel, right? Probably this is the point where you're going to take your bore snake or your scrubber, go through, clean it all out, lube it back up, get down inside here with the toothbrush, clean it all out, blow it all out with some air, get some paper towel or a nice lint-free rag in there, clean it up the best you possibly can, And then you are pretty much done. It's just the reversal at that point. You're going to take your bolt, you're going to drop your bolt back into the slots, pop it in there like that, slide it forward. At this point, we can kind of do things a little bit differently, but you can take your recoil rod, put it back in. There's only one way that it's going to fit through the hole. Push it in, twist it, lock it back in, and let it seat. Now, one thing people will say is the charging handle is really hard to get back. If that doesn't seat all the way back in the rear like that, then yeah, you'll have to shoot it a couple times to pop it in there, and it'll find its place, but it'll settle in. All right, now we're going to take our upper, slap her back on, and she should just drop in if you have your pins open, unlike me. And then just close your pins. Take your plate, start from the top, push in your plunger. Don't force it, just let it go over, and boom, like that. You're done. Cleaned up, greased up. Little other things to maybe be aware of, right, is make sure that barrel's tight with these. I've seen people say, oh, I'm getting like 12-inch groups with this thing. Either you can't shoot or you got a really, really fucked up gun, or that barrel is loose. This barrel is on a, I don't know what the term is for it, but some sort of like ratcheting, like click system in there with like a ball bearing or something. And this barrel holds on the handguard as well. So it's kind of an interesting, strange, cheapo system there, but it works. Not the most fun thing in the world when you are trying to deal with suppressors or muzzle brakes or something like that. So just make sure if you did some modifications that you kept that thing tight. We talked about the threads before. The threads aren't really cleaned up on these very well. I don't know if they've fixed that. And then people were also complaining that they broke their charging handles by smacking them too much. It is a pretty thin piece of metal up in front there. Probably don't beat on it, right? It works. It does what it's supposed to. This is a $400-ish gun, depending upon where you've seen it. We're selling them for $450. I've seen them at gun shows for a little bit less, depending upon how competitive everybody wants to be. And some of the guys online that are like buying these things in bulk, buying hundreds of them and getting a pallet, they're selling them as low as like $360 some. So these are that high point budget gun like I was talking about. These are a fun gun. These are not going to be your, end of the world, most reliable thing in the world. But this is, like I said before, for that guy on the high point budget that wants a little PCC type thing, a little CZ Scorpion type clone that he can make a little tactical project out of. These are not bad gun in my experience so far. And if you have an understanding of firearms, everything's there. Your safety, it is a bolt on both sides. So I have seen some people say their safeties and triggers went dead. I'm guessing in those sort of situations, you never saw the people in the videos take them apart. Something got wedged down in there, or their safety came loose or something like that. This is a mechanical device. If you take it apart, you should be able to see what's wrong with it. And if you have a relative understanding of firearms and how they work, you should be able to address it. I do not regard this as a piece of junk. It is a gun. It goes bang. People have asked me, I'm going to kind of jam as much information in here as possible, so sorry. People have asked me about the magazines now. The cheap magazines tend not to work for the last round hold open. The only ones that in our video that really seem to do well were the Glock magazines. We occasionally got a few of the other ones to work, but people keep asking me KCI, what brand, etc. These do come with a KCI or something to that effect, some sort of cheapo. I can't remember in the video if that worked well or not, but the Glock ones were the ones that worked well. The Glock ones are expensive. If the last round hold open matters to you that much, just pony up and buy the Glock ones. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Michael, I hope that helped you out. If it didn't, sound off in the comments below. Tell us how we're stupid and you hate us. All right, guys, we'll talk to you.